you are looking at spending half or more than half of your monthly salary on rent. And if you decide to stay in central London or anywhere close to central London, by close to central London, I mean 30 minutes by bus or by train to central London, then you're looking at spending more or depending. Anyway. Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your host Ifiokobong, and if you're just seeing me for the first time, please refer to my introductory video where you get to know a little about me. I really hope in the coming weeks or months I'll be able to make a proper video on all I want you to know about me, because definitely not all about me. And please do me the honors of subscribing to my channel. Please share my videos with your family and friends, and thank you so much in advance. So on today's episode, I'll basically be talking about the cost of living in London. I've had several people ask me how much you spend in London, what's the cost of living in London, how much you spend for your rent, for food and transportation cost. And I know many people get excited when they see the salary of a nurse in London. I'm speaking for nurses because I'm a nurse. So when they see the extra, what is it called, the high cost area allowance, they get really excited, and this may increase their expectations to get. Be like, oh, if I'm in London, I'll be earning this amount, which is way higher than what I'm currently earning in my city. So in this video, I'm basically going to state my experience, which is personal. It might be different for some other person who is living in another part of London. So on house rent in London, trust me when I say the renting market is actually very crazy. I wouldn't want my enemy to experience what I passed through while I was house hunting. Now for context, my trust is in central London, and safe to say central London is the most expensive part of London to live in. So when I was house hunting, I wasn't considering any apartments in central London because of course the rent there it's crazy, it's backbreaking. Not sure I can afford it anyway. So I was looking for apartments outside of central London, let's say between 30 to 60 minutes away from work, because I didn't want to take the chances of having to travel 2 hours to work and 2 hours back from work. That would be very stressful. Yeah. And it took me over 4 months to be able to get an apartment. Note, I was actively searching, I was actively house hunting, and not that I wasn't getting viewings. I got invited for viewings. I did so many viewings. Sometimes I would do 2 to 3 viewings in a day, and in some cases I would see a property, I like it and express my interest. You'll be sent a form to fill, the offer form, and the next day the agent or the landlord would send you a mail saying, sorry, we got a better offer. It's that crazy. And some other times you go for a viewing and you see about 5 to 10 names on the list of people that are coming to view that same property in a day. So your chances are really slim. And it was that bad. Other times you get the house, you see the property, you like it, you indicate interest, and then they tell you make an offer. The make an offer means, what do you have to give us? So let's say if the price you saw on the site is like £2,000 per month, you're expected to make an offer that is more than £2,000. And so in a situation where you have 2 to 3 people vying for that property, it's a case of the highest bidder takes it. And so whoever gives the better offer owns the house. That was the situation I found myself in until I eventually got one. Trust me, it was not easy. So that's how crazy the renting in London is. So it's safe to say it's easier to get a job in London than to get an apartment. So I'm just saying this to prepare your mind for what to expect. Because I know while I was house hunting in London, right, one of my colleagues in Nigeria came into the UK, stayed in another city. In a matter of 1 week, let me say in a matter of days, she was able to get an apartment, got the apartment, completed all paperwork, and moved in. while I was still in London looking for even the one that would say, okay, we've accepted your offer. So it's that crazy. House hunting in London is that crazy. And it's expensive too. If you're looking at staying in a shared apartment, you're looking at spending nothing less than, let's say, £900. I'm just being fair. Let's say £900. But in reality, the prices I saw for a shared apartment was like 950, £1,000, £1,050. And this is the kind of house that you share toilet and kitchen with other people. And for someone who stayed in a shared apartment, you know, when I came in, my hostel gave us a shared apartment, so we shared all of those things with others. But the difference there was we had cleaners coming in every day, so it was almost always clean, right? So it was always clean, but some days you meet the kitchen messy, right? So that made the difference. And so I wasn't even considering staying in a shared apartment. You will not have cleaners coming daily. And then, trust me, it wouldn't be funny. I read stories online, and so I was trying to avoid the situation. So on how much I actually spend every month in London, it's actually a lot. I don't know how I'm going to say it, but I'll try. It's actually a lot. And so for rent, I stay in a 2-bedroom flat, and we spend about £2,000 per month. That's without bills. And so for the bills, I mean, the bills really vary. It varies, okay? Because for council tax, it really depends on the council you're living in. Our council tax is £150 per month. For whatever reason, I don't know why that is so high. Because when we were moving into the flat, the estimate we saw was about £110 per month. But when they sent the bill for us, I saw £150. I was like, what's happening? I had to call them all because I was like, is this really our bill? I mean, is this really what we have to pay? They said, yeah, that's what you have to pay. And so our council tax is £150. Now we pay for water. Water is fixed, £20 to £40 depending on which area you live in, and I think this is applicable to other cities outside of London. Yeah, so for us we pay £40. I think it's even £42. Yeah, £42, something like that, but I know it's above £40. I don't pay for it, my flatmate does. So that's £40 per month. And then the next thing we pay for is Wi-Fi, because you need data. For me, data is life. So Wi-Fi we spend £36 per month, and that also depends on the service provider you're using. We use Virgin, so we spend like £36 per month. Yes. And we also pay for gas and electricity. I mean, without electricity, there will be no light here. I'm actually doing this video in the middle of the night. So on gas and electricity. Another thing, when I was looking for an apartment, I was looking for an apartment that has gas, because the experience I've had with, you know, the, what do they call it? Is it the hot pot or whatever? Like the hot stove, something like that. It's always funny. You would use like 1 hour to cook a meal that would ordinarily be done in 30 minutes. So I didn't want that. So I was looking for an apartment that has gas. So luckily we found one. So for gas and electricity, we spend roughly £100 per month. And I think this will also depend on the energy you're consuming. And because we moved in here in summer, I mean, it wasn't hot, it wasn't really cold then. So that's how much we spent so far. And I can't save for winter until then. And I believe when we reach what do I say? When we reach the bridge, we'll cross it, right? And so that's how much we spend for that. So that's council tax, Wi-Fi, water, and energy. That's the gas and electricity. And so that's how much I spend on rent. So that's both the rent and the bills. Now on transportation to work, in a month I spend about £50 for transportation to work, and maybe other places I have to go, market and other social events. Everything will sum up to £100. And if you happen to use Uber or Bolt, you're looking at £150. Yes. And on food, as someone who eats Nigerian meals a lot, it's more expensive. But then I don't want to be eating mac and cheese, please. So as someone who spends a lot on food, I spend roughly £100. So what's £100? I spend more than £100 on food. We're looking at between 150 to 200 pounds on food, to be very honest. And most of the times it might not be in a month. Let's say if I shop this month and I spend that much, the coming month, that's the following month, I may not have to spend that much. I may not have to spend like 70 pounds, right, depending on what I had stocked up. Yeah, so that's how much I spend on food, and that's basically it. Now let's go to the miscellaneous, like the times you have to order clothes, dresses, and attend birthdays and all. Let's say miscellaneous will sum up to like 300 pounds. And there comes the black tax. I wasn't going to forget black tax. So let's say black tax like 200 pounds. I don't know if you're doing the math, but trust me, I wasn't. So yeah, that's just a rough estimate of how much I spent in London. Like I said, it may not be the case for you if you stay out of central London or out of London completely. But note, if you're living away from London where you have to use the overground trains, that means your transportation will be more costly. And if you don't have to be buying goat meat, water leaf and all of that, everything you need to cook your Nigerian meals or your African meals, the amount you spend on food would be reduced. So this is just my personal experience, and yes, so basically that's how much I spend, and that will be it. So I'll be happy to answer your questions in the comments box, and any other thing you want me to talk about concerning living in London, yeah, I'll be happy to address it. Yeah, so thank you so much for watching the video up till this point, and if you found this helpful, please share it to anybody you know who is planning to relocate to London or relocate to the UK, who's trying to choose between London and other cities, just to give them a clue of how much they're going to spend living in London. I cannot say for other cities, but I know it's quite cheaper in other cities, because my sister stays in a 1-bedroom flat and she spends less, and I know someone that stays in a 2-bedroom flat in another city and spends like half of what I spend on rent in London. And for the high cost area allowance, yes, there's actually high cost area allowance in London, so the salary in London is more, but that makes up for the extra amount you have to pay for your rent.